Hello everyone. Today let us analyze Othello, the great Shakespearean tragedy, which is a timeless masterpiece in world literature. The tragedy of Othello, the Moor of Venice, often shortened to Othello, is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare around 1603. Set in Venice and Cyprus, the play depicts the Moorish military commander Othello as he is manipulated by his ensign Iago into suspecting his wife Desdemona of infidelity. Othello is widely regarded as one of Shakespeare's greatest works and is typically classified among his major tragedies alongside Macbeth, King Lear, and Hamlet. Shakespeare's major source for the play was a novella by Cynthia, and the plot of which Shakespeare borrowed and reworked. The story of Othello unfolds against the backdrop of Venice and Cyprus, focusing on the titular character, a Moorish general in the Venetian army. Othello secretly marries Desdemona, a noblewoman, much to the displeasure of her father Brabantio and his resentful ensign Iago. Consumed by jealousy and spurred by the insecurities, Iago orchestrates a manipulative plot to discredit Othello, convincing him that Desdemona has been unfaithful to his loyal lieutenant Cassio. The plot of Othello unravels as Iago's web of deceit tightens. Othello's trust in Desdemona wanes, leading to the tragic downward spiral of suspicion and paranoia. Despite Desdemona's unwavering love and innocence, Othello becomes increasingly convinced of her infidelity, ultimately succumbing to Iago's malicious lies. Consumed by rage and jealousy, Othello strangles Desdemona, unaware of Iago's treachery, until it is too late. What happens to Othello at the end of the play is that in a moment of devastating realization, Othello takes his own life, unable to bear the weight of his actions and the truth of his betrayal. Through themes of jealousy, deception, and the destructive power of manipulation, Othello presents a profound exploration of human nature and the consequences of unchecked emotions. The play's tragic arc serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the devastating impact of jealousy and the fragility of trust in the face of deceit. Shakespeare masterfully crafts complex characters whose motivations and actions resonate with audiences across centuries, ensuring that Othello remains a timeless portrayal of the fragility of love and the darkness that lurks within the human psyche. Let us analyze the characters. Othello. Othello is a noble and esteemed Venetian army general known for his bravery and leadership on the battlefield. However, he is also susceptible to jealousy and insecurity, particularly regarding his marriage to Desdemona. Despite his love for her, Othello's deep seated insecurities are exploited by Iago, leading him to spiral into madness and despair tragically. Desdemona, a Venetian maiden, is the epitome of both physical and spiritual beauty in Othello. She embodies her character through her virtues of sympathy, bashfulness, and faithfulness as a wife. Desdemona is a virtuous and loyal woman who deeply loves Othello. She is portrayed as innocent and pure hearted with unwavering devotion to her husband. Despite her genuine love and loyalty, in the plot of Othello, She becomes a victim of Iago's manipulation, falsely accused of infidelity, and ultimately murdered by Othello in a fit of jealousy. Cassio is a young and honorable officer in the Venetian army, admired for his skills and professionalism. He remains loyal to Othello and upholds his integrity throughout the play, despite becoming unwittingly entangled in Iago's schemes. At the end of Othello, Cassio's fate is that despite facing setbacks and accusations, he remains steadfast in his commitment to duty and ultimately helps reveal Iago's villainy. Iago. Shakespeare has built the character of Iago from an idea already existing in the theatrical culture of his time, the devil in religious morality plays, which evolved into the villain in Elizabethan drama and tragedy. Iago is the primary antagonist of the play, characterized by his deceitful and manipulative nature. Iago is surrounded by bitter irony. He is not as he seems. He harbors a deep seated resentment towards Othello and orchestrates a complex scheme to undermine him. Cunning and ruthless, Iago manipulates the other characters for his own gain, exploiting their weakness and sowing discord to achieve his malevolent objectives. Brabantio is Desdemona's father, a senator in Venice. He initially opposes Desdemona's marriage to Othello due to racial prejudices, but he ultimately powerless to stop it. Brabantio represents the societal attitudes of the time regarding interracial marriage and reflects the themes of prejudice and discrimination explored in the play. Rodrigo is a wealthy and foolish suitor to Desdemona who becomes a pawn in Iago's schemes. He is hopelessly in love with Desdemona and is easily manipulated by Iago, who exploits his desperation for personal gain. Rodrigo's gullibility and naivety make him susceptible to Iago's conspiracies, ultimately leading him to demise. Lodovico and Gratiano are Venetian noblemen who play minor roles in the play. Lodovico is Desdemona's cousin and a member of the Venetian delegation to Cyprus, while Gratiano is Brabantio's brother. They serve primarily as witnesses to the unfolding tragedy and contribute to resolving the play's conflicts. The Duke of Venice is a figure of authority who represents the rule of law and justice in the play. He intervenes in the conflicts arising from Othello's marriage to Desdemona and presides over the trial of Othello and Iago. The Duke's role underscores Venice's societal norms and values, highlighting the contrast between public duty and personal vendettas. Montano is the governor of Cyprus, where much of the play's action takes place. He is a respected figure in the military and serves as a foil to characters like Cassio and Othello. Montano's calm and rational demeanor contrasts with the tumultuous events around him, providing stability amidst the chaos. Emilia is Desdemona's maid and Iago's wife, characterized by her wit and intelligence. While initially loyal to Desdemona, she becomes unwittingly complicit in Iago's schemes. However, as the truth unfolds, Emilia demonstrates courage and integrity, ultimately exposing her husband's betrayal at great personal risk. Bianca is a courtesan in Cyprus and a foil to Desdemona. She is involved in a tumultuous relationship with Cassio, who treats her as a mere object of his pleasure rather than a true love interest. Bianca's character highlights the contrast between genuine love, superficial infatuation, and the double standards regarding women's behavior in society. Now, getting into the acts. Act 1. This act sets the stage for the unfolding tragedy. We are introduced to the main characters including Othello, Desdemona, Iago, and Cassio. The act establishes the central conflict, Iago's resentment towards Othello for promoting Cassio over him, and his subsequent plot to manipulate Othello into believing that Desdemona has been unfaithful. The act also explores themes of jealousy, racism, and power dynamics, as well as foreshadowing the tragic events. In the second act, Iago's scheming intensifies as he continues to manipulate those around him. He plants seeds of doubt in Othello's mind about Desdemona's fidelity, using Cassio's supposed flirtations with her as evidence. Meanwhile, Cassio's reputation is tarnished when he becomes involved in a drunken brawl arranged by Iago to further his agenda. The act builds tension and suspense as the character becomes increasingly entangled in Iago's web of deceit. In Act 3, it marks the turning point in the play as Iago's manipulation reaches its peak. Othello's jealousy is ignited when Iago fabricates evidence of Desdemona's infidelity, leading Othello to confront Desdemona and ultimately to doubt her loyalty. Meanwhile, Iago further manipulates Cassio by advising him to seek Desdemona's help in restoring his reputation, thus adding fuel to Othello's suspicions. The act delves deeper into themes of deception, trust, and the destructive power of jealousy. The tension escalates in Act 4 when Othello's jealousy drives him to take drastic action. Convinced of Desdemona's betrayal, Othello decides to kill her with Iago's encouragement. Desdemona pleads her innocence, but Othello remains steadfast in his belief of her guilt. Meanwhile, Emilia unwittingly becomes a pawn in Iago's schemes as she inadvertently proves him or provides him with the evidence to further his manipulation. The act culminates in the tragic murder of Desdemona, solidifying Othello's descent into madness. In the final act, the consequences of Iago's manipulation comes to light. Othello discovers the truth about Iago's treachery and Desdemona's innocence, leading to the dramatic confrontation between the characters. Realizing the enormity of his actions, Othello takes his own life while Iago is brought to justice for his crimes. The act concludes with the resolution of the play's conflicts as the surviving characters grapple with the aftermath of the tragedy and the attempt to make sense of the devastation wrought by jealousy and deception. As we go, we see the themes in Othello, the first theme being jealousy. Perhaps one of the most prominent aspects of Othello's plot is jealousy, which drives much of the conflict. Othello's jealousy towards Desdemona, fueled by Iago's manipulation, leads to tragic consequences. Similarly, Iago's jealousy of Cassio and resentment towards Othello propel him to orchestrate a series of deceptions that ultimately destroy lives. The second theme being race and otherness, Othello being a Moor, an outsider in the Venetian society. Throughout the play, the characters make derogatory comments about the race, reflecting the racism prevalent in the society. Othello's race becomes a significant factor in the character's perceptions of him, contributing to his insecurities and vulnerability to manipulation. Appearance with reality. The theme of appearance with reality is central to Othello. Characters often misinterpret situations and people based on superficial appearances, leading to tragic misunderstandings. Iago, in particular, manipulates appearances to deceive those around him, creating a stark contrast between what appears to be true and what is actually the case. Manipulation and deception. Iago is the master manipulator of the play, using deception to achieve his own selfish objectives. He manipulates characters' emotions and perceptions, exploiting their weaknesses and vulnerabilities. The theme of manipulation highlights the power dynamics at play in relationships and underscores the destructive consequences of deceit. Love and trust. Othello also explores the complexities of love and trust. Othello and Desdemona's love is genuine and profound, but it is ultimately destroyed by jealousy and suspicion. The breakdown of trust between characters, particularly Othello and Desdemona, serves as tragic commentary on the fragility of human relationships. Power and authority. Power dynamics, both within personal relationships and societal structures, are central to the play. Othello's position as a military leader grants him authority, but it also makes him vulnerable to manipulations by those around him. Iago's quest for power and control drives much of the plot's conflict, highlighting the corrupting influences of ambition. The last theme, fate and free will. Othello grapples with the interplay between fate and free will. While characters make choices that lead to tragic outcomes, there is also a sense of inevitability to the play's events. Othello's tragic downfall is the result of his own actions as well as the manipulation of others, raise questions about the extent to which individuals are responsible for their destinies. To sum up, studying Othello remains important today because it addresses issues that are still relevant, such as jealousy, racism, and the manipulation of others. In today's world, what we are still dealing with issues of race and identity, the play's message about how jealousy and prejudice can ruin lives is still compelling. Othello, the main character, struggles with his identity and fitting in, which is something many people can relate to. The play promotes us to consider the importance of trusting and understanding each other's perspectives in our relationships, which is why it continues to resonate with people today. Thank you.